What's up? I'm Allie and welcome back to my channel. Yes, this video is just a little bit late. Every year I get really energized and hyped for October. It's my favorite month. I love the spooky season. I love just Halloween, as you can tell. And my TBR is always massive. I normally like to have at least 30 books on my October TBR. I only ever plan to read about 15 of those, which is normally what I read in the month of October. I really love to have options. I also love that this month is just jammed packed full of readathons, and I just love participating in them. Something about October makes me feel like the community really comes together, reads all the fun and spooky stuff that I love, which I have to try to keep in mind. I don't have to read them all in October. Like, I can read spooky things year round. Few things that I like to do. I do have a Notion that lists a bunch of readathons that I know about and that are happening in October, whether they're month-long, week-long, weekend, whatever. So I do have a list of all those things on a Notion. Now, it isn't all of them that are happening in October, it's just the ones I know about. I'm sure there are plenty of others that you could find. It's not too late to join in for most of them. Also do spooky bingo boards. I normally do all the movies I want to watch and also do one that is all the reading prompts that I want to do for the month. So that's where we're at. Blank ones from all the previous years, as well as some new ones for this year. There are some that have less spaces, so you don't have to fill out a massive bingo board. There are smaller versions of them, so I'll have a link to those down below as well, and you can use something like PicMonkey, Canva, whatever type of just simple editing, text adding software that you like to use, website, whatever that you like to use to add text to those, and do whatever you want to do with those. The readathons I'm doing, the challenges that I'm doing, the books that I may or may not read for them, and then possibly some other options that I might swap in throughout the month. The very first one that I want to talk about is the Breath of the Wild-a-thon, because I am one of the co-hosts for this readathon. I meant to make an announcement video a while ago. Anyway, it's a month-long readathon. It is based around Breath of the Wild, Zelda, all that good stuff, and I am captain of Team Nympha. So it's not too late to join in. Head on over. I'll leave, Kaz is the creator of this, so I'm gonna leave Kaz's video because she explains it way better than I ever could down below, because there are a good many rules. There's a path that you have to follow based around the champion that you pick, and you have to go in the order of that. There's also like some random prompts and whatnot and all this other stuff. It's a little more complicated readathon, but nothing too hard to understand. It's really fun. There's a whole Discord that we are involved in, so all of that information will be linked down below. I will be doing reading sprints on Twitch this month to follow along with the Breath of the Wild-a-thon, so if you're not following me on Twitch, you should be. So for Breath of the Wild, I have blue cover is the very first challenge that you have to do, and I picked a graphic novel called Graveyard Wars because it seems appropriate for the spooky season. People who have had a touch of death and now can like harness different magical powers from whoever they've touched in death. Something along the lines of that, and there's a war going on. They have to decide which side that they're on. I may or may not try to either read maybe Monsters Born in Made. It's about this championship thing that happens every year, and a girl who cheats her way into these crazy glory races in order to help her family survive, but of course, like, it's way harder than she ever thought. Or I might read Witchlings because this is so hickety-heckin' cute looking, and it seems like the perfect time to read it. Young girl who goes to figure out which coven she's going to be put into, but ends up finding out that she is a spare, which is awful. And the other spares in her try to solidify their coven, and it doesn't work. So they are about to lose all their magic, and they have to make something happen, but I think it sounds really cute. Then we have the Blood Moon card. Now this is something that is generated randomly. I just had Brian pick a number between 1 and 10, and that's how we got to number 6, which is a book with a beautiful cover. I went with Devourers. Now, I meant to read this last year and just didn't get around to it, so I'm making it a priority this year. This is about a professor who ends up coming across this stranger that tells her all these crazy monster stories of Indian folklore. Basically, she ends up transcribing all of these, and it is about these people who less human and more creature, and about a woman who chose to defy them. Select a book from your TBR at random. Now, the one thing about Team Minfa is that you can use a book twice to do these things. So what I'm going to end up doing is having my TBR specifically for the Breath of the Wild-a-thon and just choosing one at random for that to then cover this challenge. A dark academia novel, and for this one I'm going to be reading We Wish You Luck, which is about a group of students who decide to take revenge on a professor who they think has wronged them. And I've had this on my TBR for quite some time and just never seem to get around to it, so I'm excited to finally get to it. The last prompt that we have is a fire buzzword, and for this one I'm reading Burn Down, Rise Up. I think that this sounds so good. I've heard that this is for fans of Stranger Things. Basically, there are these missing people all throughout the Bronx, and then out of nowhere, our main character, not only does her friend's cousin go missing, but her mother also goes into a coma, and there's like this weird mold substance thing happening, and also some things coming back from the past, and she's seeing some weird shit in her dreams, and monsters might be involved. There may be another world underneath of the Bronx. So this just sounds like it's gonna be monsterful and creepy and amazing, and I'm so excited for it. So plus this cover is so good. I'm also participating in Gothic Tober, which is an all-month-long readathon. So the prompts this year for Gothic Tober, you actually get from doing like kind of like a quiz, basically, of what you would do in certain situations. So that is how I got all the prompts that I have here today. Everyone's will probably be different. First prompt is Gothic. I'm really, really hoping to read House of Hunger. This is about a woman who signs up to be a blood maid for this vampire, and the vampire takes quite the liking to her, and she ends up getting swept up in like this world of glamour and glitz and whatnot, but some of the other blood maids start going missing and her life might be on the line, and I think that sounds so fucking fantastic. I'm so excited. But backstabbing, I'm hoping to get to Kingdom of the Feared. This is the, I believe, last in the Kingdom of the Wicked series, and I am obsessed with this series. It is so hot and mysterious and lovely. This is fellow Amelia, and her sister was brutally murdered, and she thinks it was by a demon, so she tries to conjure up a demon in order to find out what has happened to her sister. However, she ends up summoning a prince of hell instead, and he's very sexy. He's the sexiest prince of hell I ever did see. Not that I've seen many, but I just assume that he's probably the sexiest. Anyway, they have to work together because he also has an interest in this murder. It is somehow connected in some way. So, yeah, anyway, based on the things that happened in the second book, I'm assuming there's some betrayal that has happened within this one. So I'm very excited. This is also one that I just like can't wait to get my hands on because the first two were just so addicting. And we have our first overlapping challenge, which is a beautiful cover. Again, Devourers. We have BIPOC, and this is a book that is by a Black, Indigenous, or person of color. I'm thinking The Witchery for this one. Logan, who is new, ends up getting taken under the wing of 3 other witches with different abilities and whatnot, and the witches have to work with humans to kind of fight off the wolves. There are these wolves that kind of reign power, and during the haunting season, there's a curse and all hell breaks loose. So this is about their group trying to basically break this curse. Listen, it's got witches in it. That's all I need to know. We have disability rep, and for this one I am hoping to read I Am Still Alive, and this is about a girl who lives in the wilderness and her cabin is burnt to the ground, her father is killed, and she had been previously injured in a car accident years before. Now she has to forage for food and shelter and try to make it out of the woods because she thinks she knows who killed her father and she wants revenge. Then we have Sentient House, and this is basically a house that has taken on life, And this is a hard one to do because a lot of times this tends to be a bit of a plot twist. It's also not really a genre that I care to pick up. I can list off some books that I've read that I've kind of enjoyed that are like that. I'm hoping The Nice House on the Lake, which is a graphic novel, will have this. I'm not too sure though. Another one that I think might end up working for this is The Hacienda, and I'm not 100% sure. It's about a woman who kind of moves into this hacienda and thinks it's going to go well, and then there's some benevolent things. Malevolent? No. Malevolent, not benevolent. They are not good. There's some malevolent, oh my god. There's some malevolent things happening within the home, and she has to rely on this priest in order to hopefully get them out of the house and stop doing creepy things. So I'm hoping that might work. We'll see. There's a murder mystery. Now I'm sure I will run into some sort of murder mystery. I am not going to like hunt through these to figure out what is and isn't a murder mystery, but I'm sure that something that I am reading is going to be a murder mystery at some point. Also have Victorian aesthetics, and I'm not 100% sure if I have any books off the top of my head that are that, so feel free to leave any suggestions for that one in particular. I'm just not really sure on that one. For Gottober, the last one is something with a plot twist. Now I am reading Adjustment Day by Chuck Palahniuk. Chuck Palahniuk always has plot twist after plot twist after plot twist, so that is what I'm hoping to put for this. This is a political satire that is basically about a war that is going to start because there are too many men in the world. Then we have a stabathon, which is happening this week. It starts on the 3rd. Villain point of view, something with a romantic subplot, a slasher, YA thriller, and female relationships. I have a feeling I will find something for all of these. And then also Blackoween. Now this is something that I feel like hopefully I will just end up lining up with the things that I'm already reading. And the last kind of readathon thing that I have is my 24-hour reading sprint live show. Yes, I'm doing another 24-hour reading sprint live show. Yep, yes I am. October 22nd. It's going to start at, I believe, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, going for a full 24 hours. I am going to be reading House of Leaves. I don't know shit about this book, and I feel like that is the only way to go into it. So if anyone wants to join me in the challenge of reading this book in 24 hours, you will get to see all my reactions live, because I've heard this book is just something else. I know that it is kind of a mixed format, so we're going to see how it goes. There are going to be giveaways, there's going to be guests, hopefully all kinds of fun stuff. We'll do another, like, when we reach so many pages type thing, we'll be rewarded with something. So I'll have a little bit more information closer to, so that you know what to expect, but it's happening again. We're going to be reading for 24 full hours. Let's talk about some of the other things that I'm hoping to get to in October. One of which is Sour Candy, and this is a horror novella about basically this man. He seems so happy. Everyone sees him in the store with his son, and like, just, you know, they doing everything that his son wants, and it's just so endearing. Except for the problem is, this man did not have a son 2 weeks ago. It was just a chance encounter with whatever this thing is that has taken over his life and now owns him. So that is one thing that I'm hoping to read. Also hoping to read The Kiss Curse, because I read, what was the first one? Hex last year. This is kind of a fun Halloween romantic type thing. So this follows one of the witches that featured in the X-Hex, and she is running a very successful shop. That is until Wells comes into town and he opens up a shop like right across the street. And how dare he be competition to her shop. So they end up getting in a very heated kind of war with each other, and one thing leads to another, you know, it might just turn into some attraction. I'm also hoping to read The Sister Who Ate Her Brothers and Other Gruesome Tales, just because it seems like a pretty quick read. These are different fun little folklore stories and whatnot, so I think that this is something that I could read here and there throughout the month, and it will just be cute and spooky and fall-esque. I'm also hoping to read The Court of the Vampire Queen, and this is about a half-human, half-vampire who ends up kind of getting sold by her father to a very powerful vampire. And the more she's with this powerful vampire, she realizes he's not as scary as everyone has made him seem, and he introduces her to a whole new world, including his two best friends. So with the three of them together around her, she's gonna go against her father and do some, I don't know, it's a romance, and I'm sure it's gonna be steamy. Also, Best Friend's Exorcism, which is exactly about what it says the title is. Good with words. I swear. Just not ever on camera. This, I'm really excited to read this because there's also now a show or a movie, I can't remember which one, about this, so I want to read this and watch it and hopefully see what all the good stuff is about. I've really loved Grady Hendrix's other stuff, so I'm hoping that this one will also be kind of a smash hit for me. Also, this cover design is so good. I'd also started Chainsaw Man, so I'm hoping to read a few volumes of Chainsaw Man. I've read one. I would like to read at least like 5 this month. We'll see. And this is basically about a boy who hunts demons to make a living, trying to pay off a debt, and then he dies and makes a pact with his fellow demon companion to come back as basically part demon, and he's still tasked with hunting demons as a demon. Anyway. And then I am hoping to read some of the stories from Hex Life. This is just a short story collection about witches and whatnot. And this has been on my TBR the past 2 years, so maybe I'll make a dent in it this year. I don't even need to read it all. Just some of the stories would be fine, I think, at this point. Oh no, I'm not done. I am not done. I'm also hoping to read Weight of Blood, and I do believe that this is a kind of a Carrie retelling, and that is about a girl who has made her way through life white passing, and then it comes out that she is actually biracial, and the school wants to bully her. They want to be racist as hell. That's what they want to happen. But she has another secret up her sleeve. I'm also hoping to read Woman Eating, and this is kind of a modern vampire story about a mixed race vampire who is just trying to find a balance in life, trying to live amongst humans, and things aren't quite as easy as they seem. I also want to read Ring Shout, and this is an alternative history fantasy retelling, which is about how the Ku Klux Klan are demons from hell and about a group of people who are hunting them and trying to banish them back to hell. There's a bunch of graphic novels I really want to get to. Witch Blood, which I think just looks really cute. Porcelain, I think this one also looks good. M is for Monster. Maw, I think all of these just look so darn good. Cryptid Club, I think that one's gonna be fun. So those are just some of the other graphic novels that I would love to get to. I have such a list of graphic novels this month, and I'm hoping to get to most of them because graphic novels are such good palette cleansers between big books. The last thing that I really have to talk about, I mean, I'm sure that my TBR is just going to be ever growing throughout the month anyway, but Dracula, my love. Now, this follows a woman kind of struggling between the fact that she loves her husband, but also she has come across this new, very fascinating man, and he has really captured her attention, and she begins an affair with this man, only to find out that it is Dracula. I love a good twist on kind of an original monster, so to say. So those are some of the things that I'm currently considering for my TBR. I'm sure I will add and change around even more things as it goes. As you saw, there's a lot of reading prompts that I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to read for them yet. Sometimes it's hard to know until you get into a book if it's even going to fit for something, so I'm a little up in the air, but that is the spooky things that I'm hoping to get to this year. I'm sure I will add more thrillers and whatnot as they come out. I have a whole list of things that I didn't even mention today. Mostly because they're for some like secret TBR videos and whatnot. Anyway, again, links below for the bingo boards, the readathons, the hosts for the readathons that I mentioned, information to those readathons if you're interested. So there is that. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know some of the things that you are reading this month. Hopefully your TBR is not as big as mine. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!